For a great cup of joe, there's one thing you should know. Your morning brew can also be playful. Buff Boy Brewing guys make the temperature rise, and you surely feel naughty when you swallow our coffee. If you want some real heat, give your mouth a fine treat. You will want some more, rest assured. Buff Boy Brewing, you can't get enough of.
It's time for The Scribble, your weekly fix of celebrity chats, bizarre stories in the news, and basic random chatter with best-selling author and syndicated radio host Jeremy Bradley. Make sure your seat is in the upright and locked position and your barf bag is securely in place. Here's Jeremy Bradley.
Thank you very much, Larson. Jeremy Bradley here. This is The Scribble. Thanks for tuning in at thescribbleshow.com and on SoundCloud and iTunes. Well, it's official. The holiday home stretch is here. I have to say it, and I'm still not ready to get shopping. I'm just not ready to start my Christmas shopping yet. Again, everybody jokes and says that it's a guy thing. There's just so much going on. There is just a ton of stuff happening this year that that's the least of my concerns. And here's the deal. That's the commercial side of Christmas. So you know what? Because I haven't started Christmas shopping yet, that's a good thing. That means that I'm actually caught up in the spirit of things. That's the way I'm trying to spin it this year. Use that if you feel like it. Thanks for tuning in. And again, I love hearing from you, whether you agree with what I rant about on the show or if you disagree. It's always awesome hearing from you. My email address is live@jbonair.com. Now, speaking of Christmas, this is grasping at a segue. Red-green are holiday colors at Christmas, and so Red-green is joining us on the show today. Actor Steve Smith, he's a fellow Canadian. You know the character Red-green, right? He's always with the duct tape, and he's trying to do these handyman projects, and it usually ends up in him getting hurt or something getting broken. Well, Steve Smith has a tour going through North America, and I've got to tell you, it's almost like a different city every day. You know that performers, singers, musicians, rock bands, musical talent will do one show one night and then maybe a couple days off. And then Steve Smith is he's basically going into every city a different day in 2019. So the North American tour kicks off next year. And the American dates are first. In the fall of 2019, he will be going through Canada, and I believe my hometown as well. So Steve Smith will be joining us to talk about his legendary character and also the tour. So that's something to look forward to. Do I have anything to rant about at first? Yes, by the way. This is a big time of the year for businesses to contact customers, right? Often you get emails when it comes to marketing, sales, specials, promotions, whatever it is. And that's fine. That's also why I make up a separate email address. Like my mom is a teacher, and the only email address that she has is through school. And we had a family get-together not too long ago, and she logged into her email on their tablet, my parents' tablet. And there was probably one work-related email to every 5, I will call them spam, because, you're asked for an email address, and you give it, right? And then you're kind of locked in. Even if you unsubscribe, your email address is now everywhere. So I actually make up email addresses, and I use those. I'm not giving you my work email address. Why would I? No, that's okay. And so what do you think, though, about businesses contacting you by text? Now, I'm not talking about automated messages, okay? So case in point is that I hired a company to do work at my house. And so I prefer an actual phone call or maybe even an email. Okay, I will accept an email from the company. But again, I prefer a phone call. But when you have the workers, so the person who's coming to do the job at your house, texting you, you get the random phone number that comes up on your phone. Oh, hi, Jeremy, I'm making up a name here, Sam or Deborah, whatever it is. Hi, this is Deborah. I should be there at 1:30. It's like, yeah. Like, I reserve texting for, friends and colleagues, right? I think there's just sort of a time and place as to who texts me. Email is one thing. Phone call is something different, but texting is people I know, people that, I've given you my number and it's okay to text me. Now, it's happened before where I've hired a company, they've come to do whatever it was, and I used my home phone. I used a landline phone number. For you youngsters, you might want to Google landline phone, but I used my landline phone. And so when they got to my house, they go and say, oh, well, I was texting you, but you never responded. And I was like, you don't have my cell phone number, though. So it was this like quick assumption that, oh, it just happens to be a cell phone. No, you're wrong. It wasn't a cell phone. And so again, I don't know. I don't know. I don't like it. Send me an email. Tell me what you think. live@jbonair.com. live@jbonair.com. Now, I realize that it's a person on the other end, right? So it's not like automated text messages that you're getting. But I don't know. It just seems like I don't know you. Because you happen to have my number, you're going to text me. No, pick up the phone, call me. Oh, hey, that's a little bit more personal, I think. I don't know. Maybe I'm just an old curmudgeon. Again, live@jbonair.com. We're going to take a break. We're going to hear from Steve Smith, Red Green, right after this.
Who are the Kardashians feuding with now? What did that little thug Justin Bieber do this time? Who's getting hitched? And who's headed for Splitsville? Hear the latest celebrity news and gossip every day on Entertainment Wrap-Up. The good, the bad, the ugly, but mostly the ridiculously hilarious. It's all recapped in this daily segment at entertainmentwrapup.com. Have a laugh at the expense of the rich and famous when they take themselves way too seriously. It's 3 minutes of time-wasting fun at entertainmentwrapup.com. Check out Entertainment Wrap-Up at entertainmentwrapup.com. Brought to you by Speak Free Books.
Red Green is having lodge meetings again, and if you're my age and from Canada, you know what that means. Steve Smith is joining us on the line to talk about This Could Be It. Hey, Steve.
Hey, Jeremy. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
We're talking about the legendary character Red Green, and, aside from being everyone's dad when they were growing up, I need to know how the character came about.
Well, I don't know how old you are, Jeremy, but about 100 years ago, there was a television show out of, I think, CFTO or somewhere called The Red Fisher Show. And I used to watch that. It seemed to me he had the attitude that nothing would bore you. Like it was his job to fill the half hour. It was your job to make it interesting.
Right.
And I was intrigued. I thought, man, I could do that. So I really created the Red Green characters, kind of having some fun with the Red Fisher character. And at that time, my wife and I were doing a show called Smith and Smith. So it was only like a minute or 2-minute segment, but it kind of caught on right away, and then it evolved over the years into what it is now. Unbelievable.
Well, it's a household name is what it is, right? I mean, anybody who, well, I don't know how many times my mom called my dad Red Green, right, when he was going to build something or fix something. Did you expect it to take a life of its own, as it did?
No, I don't have any expectation. I'm Canadian, you know, so everything's a shock and a surprise, and really a delight. You can enjoy any level of success when you don't expect any.
Absolutely. So yes, the show resonated with Canadians, but now Red Green is taking the United States by storm because that's where your tour is kicking off, and tons of dates. So when did you start to see love from the Americans with the show?
Pretty early on, like maybe third season. We did 15 seasons, and by the third season we were on, we started with maybe 5 stations on PBS. We got up to about 120 at its peak, and Americans didn't even know that the show was Canadian. They thought it was shot maybe in Minnesota or Wisconsin or something. But I think it crosses borders easily because it's kind of an attitudinal show. If you have that kind of attitude of I got a roll of duct tape, I'll just fix it myself. That responds with certain people. Right.
And honestly, I don't even think I knew what duct tape was because I was a kid when the show was on. But now as a homeowner, I think my Red Green days, that's my first go-to tool. It is.
Nobody wants a repair job that outlives them. So duct tape is the key.
Ever had something to get off your chest but never had the balls to say it? That's a load of crap. Speak Free with JB.com is exactly what you've been waiting for. Your chance to tell it like it is and not care what anybody else thinks. Have your say on issues of the day. Join newspaper and radio columnist Jeremy Bradley as he tells it like it is. Hundreds of thousands of people have stopped by, including some well-known celebrities who have had a chat with JB and speak candidly about what's really going on in the world. You can join them too. Have a rant or a rave. Be brave and head on over to www.speakfreewithjb.com now.
We're back talking with Steve Smith, or Red Green, and during the break we were just talking about our love of duct tape because it's everybody's toolbox. It really is. And, with the show, though, did you ever get hurt shooting the show? I was always worried that there would be actual injuries.
Well, there were. Not a lot, not as much as there should have been. And I tell people if it wasn't for socialized medicine, we couldn't have afforded to do the show. I remember one adventure film where I broke my nose, and when we did our movie, I put a knife through my hand.
Oh my God!
I put my hand through a windshield one time, but all in all, it was the good times far outweighed the bad. We were 8-year-old middle-aged men having fun.
Yeah, it looked like a good time. You guys were just playing is what you were doing.
Yeah, the funny thing is people say to me, like, you didn't have any scripts or anything. And well, yeah, we did. Like, I take it as a compliment. Everybody had to know their scripts, and to me, the lines were so natural that people just thought we were just kind of making it up as we went along, but we were not.
And when people think of Red Green, though, they envision, it's the iconic, the hat, the plaid, the suspenders. Now, I need to know, how often does Steve wear that in public?
I'm just guessing that I would say it's around 0. In fact, if I don't have the hat on, people most of the time don't recognize me. The hat is probably more iconic than my face.
And do you have a bit of fun, though, like kind of playing with people? Maybe you'll just wear that, or maybe you don't, and then people give you a double take? Oh, hey, that's that guy.
I don't wear that, but I've had many times people say to me, you look exactly like Red Green. And I'll say, yeah, I get it all the time, but I don't let them know that I actually am Red Green. If they ask me, I won't deny it, but I'm not going to help them.
Wow. Okay, so this could be it. So it's a one-man show. Does that mean no Harold on this one? Are you going solo?
Yeah, this is actually my 4th tour. I've done 3 of these already, and it's just so much fun, and the audience has been great. This one, actually, I've got 3 of the characters phoning in during the show, so I'm getting a little bit of help. They're not actually physically there with me, but they're there in spirit.
Okay, so what are you doing then on stage? You're talking to the guys on this one? Is this for the Red Green fans from back in the day?
I guess so. What's amazing is for the first 3 tours, everyone I did, the average age of the audience has gone down. We get younger people coming. I get kids coming out who didn't know the show was ever on television. They only know it from YouTube.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, it's just, and I do some handyman stuff. I give advice, and I just kind of talk for 90 minutes. But it's, it's family friendly. I'm not angry, and I'm not obscene. I really shouldn't have a career these days, but somehow I've managed to get under the radar.
But I think that's the comedy that people are wanting, right? I mean, we see that on television with all of these other, the classic sitcoms that are coming back. To me, I feel that that's saying something about people not necessarily liking the comedy that's being put out nowadays, and they like that walk down memory lane of the family-friendly comedy. What do you think about that?
Well, I think there's an element of that, and honestly, Jeremy, I hope you're right. I'd rather it was like that. I would rather that we were kind of kinder to each other and enjoyed laughing together with no victims. That would be kind of fun. Nice way to... But I'm skeptical, but we'll see. I mean, I do a tour and get, X, and somebody who's angry and obscene does a tour and gets 10X in terms of audience return. So I'm not sure that it's going that way, but it doesn't change me. I got to do what I want to do, and hopefully I find people, and I have so far found enough people that feel the same way.
Well, we just have that friendly Canadian thing about us, don't we?
I guess, I always think my mother's in the audience, so I got to watch what I say and do.
Isn't it crazy that you wait for payday, but before you know it, you're strapped for cash again? It's time to stop blowing your money and become a smart spender with the book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate at cheapskatebook.com. Learn simple ways to cut costs at home every day and during special times of the year. Don't go broke at Christmas. Don't remortgage the house for a fancy vacation. The book is filled with tips to save you money throughout the year. Check out the best-selling book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate at cheapskatebook.com or on Amazon and iTunes.
We're back talking with Steve Smith, who is taking his legendary character Red Green on tour, and in the last segment we were just hearing a little bit about the tour. During the show, though, the live show, are you doing like some of the skits or scenes? Like, are you doing the word game at all?
No. I mean, if you get there early, we run a few clips from the show beforehand,
okay.
But to me, it's interesting doing live work because these days you can see anything anywhere. You can watch anything on your phone anywhere in the world. The only thing you can't be is in the room. You know, there's 1,000 people in the room. You're either there or you're not. If you're watching it on a phone, it's not the same thing. We're sharing the molecules and the experience, and that's kind of it's like it's 100 years ago, even though the technology is so modern now.
That's exactly right. So many people are videotaping what they're actually there watching. It never makes sense to me either.
I know, that kills me. Why don't you just enjoy it while you're there? It won't look as good later.
Well, speaking of watching, I need to know this then. When you are touring and maybe you check into the hotel and you happen to be flipping channels and Red Green is on TV, do you watch the reruns?
No chance, Lance.
No. Why not?
Well, you know, I was also the producer, so I edited all the shows. I've seen them all so many times, you know. I am actually bizarrely proud of the program. Number one, for its longevity. I mean, I stopped doing the show 12 years ago, and here it is still on the air. We just started on Heartland in the U.S. They're going to run all 300 episodes. So the fact that it kind of stayed evergreen is kind of neat, and the fact that I meet so many people who did this show actually meant something to them. And mainly what they say to me, this is the show I watched with my dad, you know, rather than I was in my bedroom watching one thing while he was watching something else in the family room. So I'm proud of that.
It's never too early to start thinking about your next holiday. Have you checked out Mexico recently? From tequila tasting, swimming with horses, to ziplining through the jungle and watching whales and dolphins in their natural habitat, Puerto Vallarta has it all. Visit mexico.jbonair.com to see all the fun PV has to offer. That's at mexico.jbonair.com for hundreds of photos, interviews, and videos from around the tourist hotspot. Check out mexico.jbonair.com for all the fun. That's mexico.jbonair.com.
We are back with Steve Smith and his character Red Green, joining us for a fourth segment, which is almost unheard of. Now, aside from the residual checks, is there any chance of bringing back the show?
Not a chance.
No. Okay.
No, I'm not. First of all, I'm not a guy who looks backwards. Like we did it to the best of our ability, and now we're moving forward. And I'd rather have people have the memories of the guys and the way they were, and then see these old guys come out on stage and kind of like do impressions of our former selves. I'd rather just, this is where I am now, and here it is.
Now, the tour is called This Could Be It. So what we're sort of saying is we're not done with Red Green. There's still going to be more Red Green fun ahead.
Well, I don't know. I wanted to leave that door open. We'll see how it goes. I certainly want to do it. I'm healthy enough to do it, and the audience seems to have an appetite for it. But we'll just see. We'll see how it goes. I wanted to prepare them. This might be it. This could be it. If I do another tour, I'll only do one more at most, and it'll be called This Is Definitely It. But let's see how This Could Be It goes first.
Now, a whole bunch of dates, as I said, throughout the United States in early 2019, and then there's a Canada arm of the tour as well, right?
Right, that'll start in the fall of 19.
Where do you get the biggest response from fans? Which country do you hear from most?
Well, I mean, just in terms of sheer numbers, we obviously have more U.S. fans than Canadian fans, that's for sure.
Right.
But on an audience per night basis, there's no difference. There's no difference performing in Winnipeg than Minneapolis. I mean, it's just people are people. In fact, I travel all over North America. I just keep meeting the same guy. So there you go.
All right. Well, the tour is kicking off in early 2019. Where can we get more information about all the dates and the tour details?
Well, just go to redgreen.com, and all the dates are there. There may be a bunch there. Check back, because they tend to add them. I have no control over where I perform. You sign a contract, and the promoter sends you wherever he can get a venue and wants to go.
Well, I can give a spoiler that I believe Winnipeg is on the tour list, so we'll be looking forward to that.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I always have fun in Winnipeg.
It is. Well, again, Canadians love you, Americans love you. Timeless comedy. And we'll be watching you on the tour. Steve Smith or Red Green, thank you so much for joining us today. Appreciate your time.
Hey, thank you, Jeremy.
We hear you chirping. Get scribbling. Tweet up the Scribble at The Scribble Show. Join the discussion with Jeremy Bradley. It's all going down right now on Twitter at The Scribble Show and at thescribbleshow.com.
That's right, Larson. Jeremy Bradley here. We are on the Twitter, as my dad would call it. We are on the Twitter. You know, last week on the show, we kicked off the launch of my book, Multiple Sarcasm. And again, I want to thank everybody who has bought the book already and loved it. And also thanks to our amateur reviewers. You know, I wanted to get people from all different walks of life. A fellow writer, somebody that I know who's in the media that I met on a red carpet years ago, a blogger who does travel stuff. I just wanted to get all different types of personalities who I think are similar to mine. They're sarcastic, and that's why I like them. And so it was great. Of course, they're going to love the book, right? That's why I had them on the show. They're not going to come on and say the book was terrible, but it certainly is a fun book. And like we had said, you know, in the world of hatred and uptightness, is that even a word? The book is just kind of a laugh. So if you're easily offended, I think, what does the back of the book say? Something like, take the stick out of your ass or something to that effect. If you're easily offended, then don't read the book, but then also at the same time, don't even go through life. Stay hidden away. It's time to just have a laugh and be lighthearted and fun and goofy and silly. And there's a lot of moments in the book there that I think that you'll appreciate because you can relate to them. You've maybe experienced some of the things. One of the stories that comes to mind is when I crashed the backyard karaoke party one Saturday night at about 8 o'clock when I should be nodding off on my couch. But yeah, check it out on Amazon and iTunes. The book is called Multiple Sarcasm. And again, I thank everybody who has shot me a note on Twitter or wherever and told me that you have it and that you enjoy it. Because, well, that's the best thing you can hear when you're an author, right? Is that people enjoy the book. So I'm glad there's other people with sick sense of humor like me out there, and yeah, it's good to hear from you. Now, I'm just looking at my desk here because are you like me where you'll jot down something and you know what it means in the moment? It means something to you when you're writing it down. But I come back to it. Now, this thing was probably written about a month or two ago. It's the letters TR, and then there's 3 numbers after it. TR819. Now, before you go and say, well, JB, you just gave us your password for something. No, because that doesn't even look familiar. It's T.R.819, and then a hyphen. No idea what that means. Not a clue. Do you have randomness laying around your office or somewhere at home? Like, what do you do? And I'm trying to rack my brain going, when would I have written that? What was I doing? When was I last sitting here? Okay, it's on this kind of a Post-it. When was I using that kind of... I'm doing an entire forensic audit, let's be honest here, and racking my brain as to what it means. T.R.819 and then a hyphen or a dash. I don't even know what... It's my writing, so I know this is mine. But yeah, I don't know. Has this ever happened to you? Send me an email, live@jbonair.com, live@jbonair.com. And I'm going to tell you what else happened one day, by the way. In my office, I have, I'm kind of weird, where I have a smaller notepad by my phone, and that's where I write down like a message, or if somebody happens to call, I can just jot it down. And then I've got a bigger notepad to the right of my computer, where that's where I make the full-on notes from a meeting. So that's what I grab when I grab my coffee cup of water and I head out to a meeting. The one that's a coil-bound sort of a notebook by the phone is more for jotting messages. Well, get this. I'm sitting in a meeting, and I'm flipping my notepad, and then I had brought my actual phone message writer book down to the meeting, and there's a page of notes in there that's not my writing. Somebody had that book before me. Now, I knew that it was a brand new book. I'm one of those people who are, it's like, you know what, I needed a new book. If I need like a file folder and somebody's like, oh, here, take this one, just cover up the label or whatever it is. No, I need a new one. I need an actual new file folder. I'm like that. Yeah, it's bizarre. And me being the cheapskate that I am, you'd think I would be all about just putting a piece of tape and making a new folder. No, it's got to be new. And so this notepad that I had, clearly somebody had used it before me, and it was like dead to me at that point. The notebook was dead. I've never used somebody else. This is not mine then. I've used this now for months, and I get halfway through and I happen to see another page of notes from somebody else. Dead to me. I'm not using the notebook anymore. Has it ever happened to you? Maybe you're not as neurotic as I am when it comes to things. I don't know. I just didn't appreciate it. Send me an email, live@jbonair.com, live@jbonair.com. You know what we've got coming up on the show next week? On our syndicated radio programs, Top of the Charts and The Open Road, we do travel tourism programming a few times a year. And so we had, back in the fall, taped Panama. Now, what's interesting is that we taped it in October around the exact, it was the same time that the Panama City, Florida hurricane was going on. You remember that one back in the day, a couple months ago? And so we try to do these tourism broadcasts on the download, on the hush-hush. We don't really tell anybody that we're doing them, because we also don't want to set up and go, hey, we're doing this, 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 and this, and then all of a sudden, when we get there, it doesn't happen, which is what happened in Panama. There were 2 activities that got canceled and we didn't do it. So we like to, in some instances, if it's a place we've never gone to before, we're not too sure, we don't want to announce it early on and say we're doing this because it might fall through. If it's a big destination, like Houston, Texas, or Montreal, Quebec, or something, it's a safe bet that this is going to go off without a hitch. But we just don't do it. And so a few people had known that we were going to Panama and Panama City, but misinterpreted and thought that we were actually going to Panama City, Florida. And I've got to tell you, I'm out on the Panama Canal, I'm in a boat, and all of a sudden, when my cell phone got signal again, I started getting all these texts and DMs and people. Somebody back home sent me a DM on Twitter, please let somebody know that you're okay, make sure that you're in a safe spot, and blah, blah, blah. And I was sitting there going, what the hell are you talking about? I'm in a safe spot. What's going on? Now, I knew that the hurricane was happening because every night I had CNN on. There were a few TV channels that I was watching when I was there, but I had CNN on, so I knew it. And it actually kind of made me take a second look. Every time I saw the words Panama City on the screen, it was like, oh, that's where I am. Oh, no, that's not where I am. Okay, I'm not there. And so people were freaking out. Now, here's the deal. I appreciate the concern that people have. I thank the people. But here's the deal. If you really cared, and you would know where I was then. You would know where I was. So I got to razz people who were freaking out, but again, I appreciate the concern. Everything is fine. I made it home. So next week on the show, you're going to hear highlights from our Panama City radio broadcast. You're going to hear me saying that we're live in Panama, but we were at the time. Obviously not now as we head into December, but that's also to give me much of December off, so I don't have to work. But that's coming up on the show next week. I gotta say, if you really want to get away in the cold, cold winter, if you're from Canada like I am, Panama is great. Now, one misconception that I had was that when you hear Panama, you think, oh, the beaches and tropical destination. It was hot there, don't get me wrong, tropical destination. But the beaches, I had to get into an airplane, a tiny little airplane, and fly about an hour away to really appreciate the beaches. Now, there's some islands there that you can just take a boat and go to, but yeah, if you really want the cool beaches of Panama, there's a bit of a drive or a flight. And one of the San Blas, which is apparently a really, really beautiful beach destination, we were supposed to go one day, and the tour company just didn't show up. I was supposed to wait in the hotel lobby at 5 in the morning. Get this, I was up at 4:30 in the morning after all these long days of taping broadcasts. And I was like, really, you guys, you're going to have me up at 4:30 to go to the lobby at 5. And they said, well, you've got a 3-hour car ride in a Jeep on bumpy roads through the jungle. You got a 3-hour car. You can sleep a little bit of that before then you go enjoy a day in paradise. And I was like, okay, there's a trade-off there, right? So I get up at 4:30, go down to the hotel lobby at 5 in the morning. Still pitch black, nobody around. Hotel security, a couple other people from the hotel there. I waited for an hour, and the company did not come and get me. They just disappeared off the face of the earth. Now, thankfully, when we do these broadcasts, we're not paying for anything. We're often paid to feature the places, so it was kind of like, you just disappeared. Well, okay, it's no skin off our nose. I mean, that's fine. But apparently that was sort of one of these buyer beware things about Panama, is that a tour company can just, maybe not show up or just decide it's not going to happen. And then we also had a catamaran tour one day that they sent an email the day before canceling because of bad weather. And so they said, there's bad weather on the horizon. We're canceling the catamaran. Don't show up tomorrow morning. And sure enough, the weather was actually beautiful the next morning, so we could have had the boat cruise. So, we didn't do everything that was supposed to be scheduled for Panama, but we do have 2 full podcasts coming your way with highlights from it, and 3 weeks of radio shows. Again, if you don't hear our radio shows top of the charts and the open road, this podcast is a great opportunity for you to hear them. So that's coming up next week and the week after as we celebrate episode 200 of the Scribble podcast. Can you believe it? Episode 200 already is next week. And then we're in as I said, the holiday home stretch coming up. So If we do get some time on those episodes, we will talk about some festive things as we normally do. Feel free to give me a shout anytime. It's always awesome hearing from you. I love hearing your insight, your feedback. Whether you agree with me or not, send me an email live@jbonair.com. live@jbonair.com. My thanks to Steve Smith, who plays Red Green. Check his website to see if his one-man show is coming to your town. It's going to be a good time. He's a really funny man. Thanks to Steve Smith for joining us. I will talk to you same time, different place next week right here on The Scribble. Bye, everybody.
Want more Scribble? Check out thescribbleshow.com for past shows, celebrity interviews, cheapskate tips, and more. That's at thescribbleshow.com and on Twitter at The Scribble Show. The Scribble is a speak-free media presentation.
If you want some real heat,